I mean, doesn't the remake have 18 chapters? I'm pretty sure that. I mean, you mean like the first game? I mean, the remake is supposed to be an episode, right? Um, and who knows how many episodes there will be. I suppose you have to buy every single one of them. I mean, because it's gonna be essentially three, or how many? Let's just assume it's three parts. In that case, it will be three kind of unique, separate games. So I really do not see how he would not have to buy old games, because otherwise they only get to make money once, and that's not how it works. Well, it already has DLC, doesn't it? You can get like pre-order bonus stuff, like um, some summons apparently. I assume that's the point of pre-order only bonus content. It's gross. What is gross? I mean, I'm not really sure if I would say kick-ass summon, because don't you get Carbuncle, which normally isn't even FF7? I think you get some really weird stuff. I'm not really fond of this entire concept of DLC. It just forces you to spend money on stuff you don't really need, let alone want, and I think it's pretty petty. But yeah, I completely agree with your criticism of pre-order bonus stuff. I mean, what if you weren't even born yet when you had to pre-order? I mean, maybe you, well, I mean, what do you even get in Happy Meals from McDonald's? I don't know. Half-eaten shoes? A roll of toilet paper? I have no idea what you get these days. Back in your day, you didn't have to spend real money on fantasy horse armor. I mean, is that a good or a bad thing, though? I mean, now that I've read it, fantasy horse armor sounds really exciting to me. Where can I buy said fantasy horse armor? Hey Nick, how are you? Oh, that's too bad because I don't play Skyrim. Well, maybe you can say so, Fine Lines, if you don't have super heavy OCD, because I think I mentioned that I have a Switch, and I have Breath of the Wild, and I may or may not feel like not getting every single item in the game is putting a strain on my soul. Well, you get all kinds of useless garbage, actually. I mean, you can get fierce deity shit that no one really needs. You can get stuff from basically every previous Zelda game, and some of that stuff looks kind of neat. Um, I mean, yeah, you get like a lot of stuff, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I'm gonna tell you like a real spooky secret. I'm not even sure if this is legal, but they're selling this on eBay. So of course, if it's being sold on eBay, it's probably it's most certainly legal, right? The way these amiibos work is they have like some sort of electronic device inside of them. There's like the hardware part is very minor, and you can like put these things on like some kind of USB port, equivalent on like some kind of like cardboard thing, and you can just buy those on eBay. You don't have to like spend $30 on an amiibo. You can buy like all the existing amiibos for like $3 if you want only like the software part of them to like get stuff in the game. I don't actually own any amiibos except for one. Which one? I own Majora's Mask amiibo. It's Link from Majora's Mask holding a Gohan mask and looking like some kind of fool. It's the amiibo that in Breath of the Wild gives you all of the fierce deity stuff. At least in theory, because if you use an amiibo in Breath of the Wild, what you get is random, so almost like you're playing a randomizer. And the good stuff is actually extremely low probability spawning. So you have to like use the amiibo, then realize it doesn't work, then you have to like reload your save. And it's just very annoying. I wonder what people who have like a couple of amiibos, like, do they collect them? Because you probably have to. They're kind of expensive, and they don't really serve much of a purpose. I mean, I guess cute is debatable, but you're probably right. They are essentially figurines. I suppose that's right. I am just grinding some AP. Well, you just discovered the mystery that is exchange rates. You know, I think the main issue with why most games are like more expensive in euro terms than in dollar terms is that there was stuff like VAT, value-added taxation, in Europe or in most countries, and that doesn't exist in the US for the most part. You have quite a lot of amiibos, fine lines, it seems. I don't even know where you where does one even buy amiibos, because I think I got mine on Amazon. Do they sell them like in actual stores? Interesting. Why is everyone named Sephiroth? Because I wanted to make the game less confusing. I mean, if you have to remember so many names, this game can become quite confusing, so I was trying to do you a favor by just using one name over and over again, so that the dialogues become easier to read. I mean, it's kind of sad that because I'm fighting on the world map, you cannot actually experience this mod's full potential, because I would have to leave the world map for that, so that it becomes more clearly visible. Also, I found it really interesting that I was watching Twitch myself earlier yesterday, and somebody else was also streaming FF7 Randomizer. Um, I don't think I inspired them, because when I talked to them in their chat, they had no idea who I was. But it's nice to see people do this. Well, you'll be surprised how many people, I mean, I watch quite some FF7 myself on Twitch, and just about pretty much anyone has no idea who I am. They ask me what I how they could say my name, and alas. Anyway, I mean, it's not like I care if they know me, and I guess realistically, why should they know me? Wait, didn't something get mastered? Oh yeah, this stuff and this stuff. That's not even true. Was I mean, I'm just asking you seriously right now, like, did I ever stream mostly FF8? That's I don't believe in that. I think even when I streamed FF8 more than I do now, I've always streamed at least as much FF7 as FF8. I mean, I would be quite shocked to hear that anybody thinks I am more known for FF8. I don't know if I want to be more known for FF8 actually. You think I did? I think you just misremember because I don't really see that. I mean, I have of course done quite a bit of FF8, but I don't hate FF9. I just think people... I mean, in like the speedrunning community and people who know FF games, in those communities, people have an extremely, I would say, unjustifiedly high opinion of FF9. I don't really like FF9 that much. I think it's overrated. I mean, the gameplay of this game, FF9, sucks to some extent. It's just too random, it's too slow, and it just doesn't feel quite finished. You cannot get some sort of... you can't max your stats. The end game is a bit limited. It just doesn't quite compare to some other games of the series, I would say. I mean, I liked it too. I'm just saying that there are people who think it's so much better than I think it really is. I mean, it's a nice game, but it's nowhere near the greatest game of all time, or like a super great game. I think people, I don't even know people who like FF9 that much see in it, to be perfectly honest. The Final Fantasy series died with 9. You probably mean it died with 10, right? You want to send an email to Square asking for prices and such? That sounds like a very interesting email. I mean, to be fair, like musically, FF9 has a very amazing soundtrack. Like FF9 has some very nice elements, but as a video game, like gameplay to me is probably the most important factor when you try to, you know, decide whether you like a game or not. FF9's gameplay is just not that enjoyable to me. I mean, I like watching FF9, I just don't like playing it. Well, he's probably just a Saiyajin. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think FF9 is a good game. It's just not my favorite game. And even at the risk of repeating myself, I just think it's overrated. Like, if I had to rate it on like a scale, I would give it like something like a 7 out of 10. You know, just so you understand. I think it's still a very nice game, it's just not... It's not more than a 7 though. Taking everything into account. Really? I don't know about that. Yeah, FF9 has a few very enjoyable ones. Very enjoyable pieces of music. You know, personally I actually quite like 10. I have some very fond memories that coincide with FF10 and eating birthday cake. Maybe that's why I'm kind of liking it. I have some very vivid food memories of FF10 and some other games actually. You know, there was a whole FF9 inspired cover album that came out in like 2015 or 2016 where people took FF9's songs or tracks and remixed, remastered, or just basically worked on them. I can tell you what it's called if I find it. I quite like that. I can't remember what it's called, but I can look it up. Should have it somewhere. Oh, FF9 Worlds Apart. It came out in 2015. It's like a 4-hour album that basically remasters every. I'm not sure if they took every song in FF9, but they reworked pretty much everything. FF10 to its great fan service. Well, that's debatable, I would say. I mean, you know, gameplay-wise, I would say FF10-2 is quite fun. I mean, if you really just account for the gameplay, like, you know, the battles and that, then I would say FF10-2 has a nicer gameplay than FF9. Well, what if you don't like costumes? I mean, maybe you don't like costumes. Maybe costumes scare you. Maybe you don't wear clothes every day. Maybe just live in some kind of cave naked because it's a cave and you don't have any kind of social interaction with the outside world. I mean, I can see what you mean by saying that clothes are just a costume as well. But, I mean, I assume not literally everyone is wearing clothes. There might be a very small minority of people who do not believe in clothes either. So, just saying. If you live in the desert, that's interesting. Do people dress up for parties? Because you can probably also like dress down for parties. Maybe like even strip on parties. I'm not quite sold by all of this costume talk. Well, Thanksgiving isn't a thing here. I mean, yeah, it's probably true. It depends on the party, I suppose. I guess to some parties you like wear more clothes, and to other parties you suddenly just drop all your clothes. It's the mystical mystery of the type of party you attend. Like sexual harassment lawsuits? I mean, it's not sexual harassment if it's consensual, I suppose. I mean, it's also not sexual harassment if you're getting paid for it, I suppose. I mean, not that I would know much about it, but I'm sure there's like people whose job it is to go to parties and like do some kind of weird, maybe not weird, I should be so judgmental, and do some interesting strip work at parties. I mean, isn't that what like 70-year-olds order? I mean, I'm not getting paid for it personally. And I am not sure if I can say I know people who are getting paid for this, but I can imagine some people are. I mean, you can probably apply for that job, fine lines. I'm not really sure what kind of qualities you have to bring for that kind of job. No, my grandparents are like borderline, not borderline, like partly dead, so I assume they do not have these sort of parties anymore. But it's what television told me, that's what 70-year-olds do. Oh, you mean a human sushi plate? You know, I can tell you from experience that having food on your body is not that exciting. Like, I mean, maybe it depends on, like... Maybe it's more exciting for the other part that, like, eats the food from you, but it's kind of mundane, actually. Yeah, I'm sure it's not really a thing anywhere, it's just... I mean, it helps you save... you don't have to wash any plates afterwards if you just put food on other people. It's actually a great idea, you know. If you don't have a dishwasher, just always eat from other people's bodies because it means you don't have to wash any dishes. It's quite genius, actually. I mean, you can shower more easily than you can wash dishes, I would argue. I haven't quite thought this system through to perfection. I mean, there are also some foods that you can't really eat like that. I think peas are not suitable for this sort of thing. I mean, I'm glad that I can bring out so much creativity. Maybe you just shouldn't eat so many peas. To begin with. Your friend ate lentils with Nutella. You know, this might be a bit shocking for you to hear, but I am not exactly into soup of any kind. I think soup is... I don't understand soup. I don't like fluid foods. I mean, if my food is not basically hard rocks, like... I like chewy foods, like rocks and minerals. I mean, basically what I really like is like edible cutlery. That's my ideal foods. Do people actually like soup? Like, do people enjoy to eat foods quite often? I don't understand soup, to be honest. It's just a mystery to me. It's a tasty filling drink. I guess you're right, but I mean, I have had soup before, and a lot of soups I've had just were not good. Maybe that's why I don't like soup. Just bad experience. Maybe. What about smoothies? I mean, smoothies are a drink, so smoothies are fine. I actually kind of like them. Because they are not to be confused with foods. Maybe if I thought of soup as a drink, I could enjoy soup. You couldn't shoot anything a few years back? That sounds unfortunate. It sounds like that's a longer story. Did you, like, lose your teeth and you couldn't find them for a few years? Or something like that? I'm sure it must be something like that. I mean, I even bought myself some sort of kitchen machine that can make like smoothies. Like it's basically, I don't know, a grinder slash shaker, and you put like stuff in there and you turn it on, and it just becomes some sort of very finely ground fluid substance that you can wash your hair with and also drink. I have yet to make a tuna smoothie, but when I do, I will certainly make sure to document it and put it on YouTube. Now maybe I should try that actually very soon, because I have like 6 cans of tuna lying around. I mean, if you really wanted to know what I look like, if you really had that obsession, I am sure you might find a way. I'm willing to say that pictures exist already. I kind of look like a very pale vampire who has an obsession with skin bleaching. But, you know, I'm not saying that because I have an obsession with skin bleaching, I'm just spookily pale. Accidentally so. People sometimes mistake me for cheese. The food. Not the speedrunner. Years ago on shopping TV channels, you could get a smoothie kind of maker called Jack LaLanne's Power Juicer. Yeah, I don't like noise, so that might not work. I mean, I think I mentioned how leaf blowers are one of the most evil inventions ever. I mean, I don't even like using the vacuum cleaner because it's so loud. Well, that's the tricks and traits of chopping TV, I guess. One should probably be aware of those. The juicy later. What is the juicy later? What's that? That sounds and looks quite spooky, I must say. Is tele-shopping still a thing? Shopping TV channels? I haven't watched TV in a long time, but I always found those to be most enjoyable, like most fun to watch, because of how garbage this is. I mean, just next to I don't even know what it's called, but there's like spiritual TV channels where you can like, it's like some kind of call-in show. You can like call in and like ask some kind of fortune teller for advice, and it's usually just a train wreck. Like, it's it's my favorite thing to watch on TV. You know, it's not so much televangelists in like here in Germany it's called Astro TV, because it's like astrological, and people who call in, they want to know about the horoscope and that kind of garbage. No offense. And that's usually always very entertaining to watch. You know, they would call in and ask some overweight, like 50-year-old, kind of extremely gross-looking woman questions like, what's my love life gonna be? Like, am I gonna get a promotion? And surprisingly, the answer is always yes, everything's gonna be great. And I mean, I don't understand who even believes in that, or who is even willing to spend money on that. You know, I think they're just desperate. Which is kind of the sad reality of those kind of shows. I think I've heard that name, Walter Mercado, before. Netflix unveils last years of famous astrologer Walter Mercado. What exactly does it take, by the way, to become a famous astronomer? To become a famous astrologer? I mean, what do you even do that only you can do? I mean, it's probably some sort of personality. Yeah, I mean, it's charisma. I mean, it's not like you have any kind of gift to like. I mean, in the way that astrology isn't that supposed to be a technical activity? I mean, you're being told someone's birthday and stuff, and shouldn't it be like almost like a mathematical methodology? So I mean, it shouldn't matter what person is giving you your horoscope, but of course that's not how horoscopes work. It's about some gullible people believing some charismatic people telling them some kind of garbage. Sounds about right. Well, good night then, and have some spooky dreams, and try not to die while you sleep, or also while you're not sleeping. Do I have anything that raises dexterity? Oh, this. I mean, have you died in a fast food restaurant fire before? So how can you say that dying in your sleep would be better than dying in a fast food restaurant fire? I just feel you don't have the experience to really decide which would be better. I mean, you could become your own astrologist. Why do you even need someone else's? What if you die in your sleep while dreaming of dying in a fast food restaurant fire? Well, I mean, to be fair, depends on if you have a lucid dream or not. Like, are you awake you're dreaming or not? Because if you're just dreaming and you don't know you're dreaming, then for you in your reality, you are probably just dying in what you're dreaming, because that's how you perceive dreams, how you have them. So if you're dreaming that you are in a fast restaurant fire, and you are currently dying in that moment that you're dreaming, then you could just as well have died in a fast food restaurant fire, as far as you are concerned. Well, I think dreams work in somewhat of a very mysterious way, like an unpredictable way. If you are afraid of dreaming of something particular, it's unlikely that you will dream of that. That's just not how dreams work. I would say, at least. I mean, has anyone ever here died of dreaming? Like, have they had a dream in which they thought they were dying? Actually, I think I've had those, like a lot of them. But then again, my dreams are always not very meaningful. A lucid dream of phantom monster eating you alive, feet first. But a lucid dream means that you are aware that you're dreaming, right? If you are aware that you're dreaming, then how can you be even unnerved by being eaten alive? Because you know it's just a dream. I think I only once had a lucid dream. When I was a child, I dreamed I was riding a car on a highway, and that was extremely unspectacular. That was a very boring dream. You had a really spooky dream just the other day? Someone was in your dream house, and you were trying to find a weapon. You found a giant claw blade. And when you tried to find out who was in your house, it was your sister. I see. Interesting. I mean, there's actually, you can train having lucid dreams. You can train becoming aware in your dreams that you are dreaming. I mean, apparently some people do that, but it does require a bit of hard work. You need to like establish some sort of regimen where even if you're awake, you have like some sort of thing you always do, so that when you're dreaming, you do it as well, and that thing you can use to realize that you are dreaming. Well, when you do lucid dream though, there is something called sleep paralysis, which is a kind of spooky phenomenon. You can Google that, it's actually kind of scary. Sleep paralysis is where you basically, your brain kind of is not synchronized, your awakening is not synchronized, so you like wake up, you are awake, but your body is like locked, so like you wake up and your eyes are open but you can't move yet, and you just have to wait until your body like decides to give you control over your physical parts again. I have never had it, but apparently it's quite spooky. Well, what do you do once you have become successful at lucid dreaming? Like, what do you do with a dream in which you are aware that you're dreaming? Like, how do you even profit from that? Is it even worth it? You find the girl guy of your dreams. That's... I don't know. That sounds a bit boring, to be honest. You flew down the street. Interesting. I mean, in my dreams, things that are not very realistic would happen. Like, I go to like a grocery store and I find money lying on the floor. That's the most unrealistic thing that I could ever dream of. You know, unfortunately my dreams are never quite as funny as I could imagine them to be. I mean, if I had lucid dreams, I could make up quite some interesting ideas. I could reenact some TV shows, video games, anime, lots of things. One of your best dreams was being taken to the moon. They replaced body parts with robot parts and you were flying across the world. Interesting. I mean, I would like to have a dream where, let's see. You had a dream where you dreamt you were a duck. That never happens to me. I have never dreamt being another being, like another species. I've dreamt being other people, but never before other species. I would like to have a dream where I don't know, I kind of like explosions. And how about a dream where like a person explodes and someone comes along and uses the exploding body parts and builds a car out of them, and then that car is being sold. And then the next person comes and they make a fortune telling out of that car. Oh hey, fine lines, thank you. I haven't had that dream yet. I'm just describing my my ideal dream I'd like to have. It's the spooky lime green. It's not even lime green. This is like, what kind of green is this? This is like candy green. It's too bright and too green. Vomit green, you know, this, I mean, vomit doesn't even look green, I would say. It's more like a beige color, more like some of it's more like a salmon color actually. Some of it even contains salmon. I mean, anyone who walks a moderately sized city in the early morning hours can probably find a good sample of what vomit looks like. I mean, considering that Skittles are basically just sugar with some kind of artificial coloring, I really don't assume it would be green. I mean, maybe if you ate only broccoli, like food that actually is green by default, and not just by coloring it green. I guess if you ate only broccoli and cucumbers, kiwi. But then again, if you live that healthily, it's probably difficult to even begin to vomit in the first place. This almost looks like a volcano now, this mountain in the distance. In particular, considering the color of the sky. This is, I don't know, this is some kind of a light red color. Yeah, I think the same applies to if you look at a watch or a clock, the time on the clock will change. The same is true for if you read something. If you reread it, it would say something else in a dream. But you know, the difficult part is actually, I mean, I've realized that many times, like, if I reread something in a dream, it's gonna be something else. I just, in my dreams, don't find that strange. In my dreams, weird things make perfect sense to me. I wonder how you would go about changing that mindset to finding those things strange in dreams as well. When did Darkrai even first become a Pokemon? Like, that's probably almost 10 years ago, isn't it? Can you believe that? Quite possibly even more than that. You know, some people have a dream journal that they keep a notebook next to their bed, so when they wake up, they can write down their dreams just right after waking up, so that they don't forget about them. I have not played Pokemon Sword and Shield. All I know is that apparently Pokemon Sword and Shield caused some drama because the developers decided to not actually put all the Pokemons that are in the game because apparently it's too much work or too much data and whatever. I think the last Pokemon game I played was Pokemon, I'm gonna say Black and White maybe? And to be honest, I don't know pretty much anything about Pokemon Sword and Shield, so I'm sorry. Well, my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Red, and I think I played every Pokemon game that came out until like Pokemon, I don't even know. I think I played Gold and Silver and Ruby and Sapphire. After that, I'm not so sure what happens. The phone games. Which phone games? Am I just naming weapons? What kind of weapons? You mean Pokemon Go? I see what you mean. What about Silver and Gold though? I have seen people play Pokemon Go, which looks apparently very disturbing. I was in Austria one time, and I went to like a public park, and there were like hundreds of people playing Pokemon Go there, and it's not a pretty sight to behold actually. No offense though. Have you talked to Choboloco? By the way, he's from New Zealand, and I was talking about Austria. So you're making quite the leap there. He wants to have dinner with me. Well, I'm glad he doesn't want to have me for dinner. Tell him I'm only gonna have dinner with him if he has a cheese cart. He'll understand what I mean by that. Next time you see him, it's important that you tell him that. Maybe like, let's tell him a cheese or chocolate card is required. I don't know, I don't like cheese. I just like cheese cards. I guess you'll never know what it means. It's gonna be a spooky mystery. Well, last time I had a cheese card, which was the first time I had one, I was being recommended cheese from the cheese card to sample, and because I'm not really that into cheese, I just went with the choices that were recommended to me. So I had like 5 different cheese options, types, and they were all kind of cheesy. That's all I remember really. Well, I think you know why. That's probably because maybe they don't want to use Vincent, or they don't have Vincent, or they don't have Mug, or they don't have maps in their houses, and that's why they can't find the US on a map. How can cheese card be a sex term? Cheese card is not a sex term. Snowballing is a sex term. Pearl necklace is a sex term. Those things are sex terms. Cheese card is not a sex term. You know, I'm really curious what kind of sex activity would be described by cheese card. You know, I learned all my sex slang from Wikipedia. They have like a list of these terms. Wikipedia is truly educational. They have like terms like all those terms I mentioned on there and many more. They even have like depictions, like pictures of how you have to imagine these things to work out. For in case you can't do that. It's just marvelous. The things you can learn in it these days. Wow, that's quite poetic. Even though the language, the terminology, seems pretty basic to me. Can you please use more arcane terminology next time? You know, try to teach people some new words that are not so commonplace. Coitus? That's not what I meant. Even though that's a fun word to say. Because of its Latin roots. I mean, that's original fine lines. But I think cheese cards usually have to smell fairly good, because otherwise people um, wouldn't want to eat from the cheese card, would they? Well, I guess that's true. But then again, there are some people who are into, what even is good body smell anyway? I know some people who are into like smelly bodies. At least they told me. I mean, smells are quite specific, subjective anyway. I mean, you'd be surprised there are people who do not like people to smell fresh or clean. Some people want other people to smell sweaty. You know. Maybe like an animal alive. As if they had just killed someone or something like that. Fish sauce can smell like body odor? I had no idea. I might have never had fish sauce then again. Actually. Maybe I should try fish sauce, is that what you're saying? I mean, speaking of fish to begin with, aren't fish normally believed to smell bad? Like, people say they don't like the smell of fish, but I don't really know if I would agree with that. Fish sauce goes well with fish sticks. I don't eat fish sticks. You know, I wouldn't mind getting like a whole fish as a present. They don't mean fresh fish? You mean like old fish? Almost rotten fish? But that's unrealistic. I mean, if there is fish anywhere where I live, it's gonna be eaten before it's gonna get smelly anyway. Most of the fish I like to look at and then I like to eat. You know, maybe like a pretty fish, maybe like a whole octopus. Anything with tentacles is good. Well, have you ever tried octopus? I mean, tried eating it? Well, have your parents ever told you as a child that you're not supposed to play with foods because it's foods? Well, if that's something you never liked, then octopus is great, because octopus, in order to be most palatable, you kind of have to play with it. You have to like smash it against the wall for a few hours to tenderize it. It's in many ways the perfect food because it invites playfulness. Well, octopus is not chewy if it's prepared the correct way. It's not supposed to be chewy actually. Or at least not very much. Well, there might be better ways to tenderize something, but are there more fun ways though? Have you ever tried tenderizing octopus? It's an interesting way to spend an afternoon. I mean, this might be shocking, but in the time I wasn't streaming, I was not really doing everything just for efficiency, but I was educating myself on the arcane arts of tenderizing octopus and those sorts of things. I can't turn this into a documentary because that would have been like a documentary only for mature people. I actually like both octopus and squid. They are similar, but not the same. You know, if I had to choose, I'd probably say I prefer octopus because it just feels more exciting. It is a more adventurous food. Octopus has, to me, some association with Christmas and exploding boxes. And if I had to imagine picture an exploding octopus versus an exploding squid, I think an exploding octopus would be more fun. And if you're angry at someone, you can probably throw a large octopus at them more easily than a large squid. So you've prepared octopus yourself before in the past? That's interesting. Octopus also makes a better cuddle toy, and you know, you can probably try it as an art installation more easily than squid. It's a better makeshift tomb for small animals. You can probably wear it as a hat. You can use it as a stool, as a pillow, as a car tire, as a TV set. I mean, if you think about it, they're extremely versatile. Well, let's be honest, it's difficult enough to teach even humans any games. Beginner tips? That's a good question, actually. So if you have never played FF7, like, have you watched the playthrough of FF7, or would you be playing this without knowing anything about the game, or what can I expect you know about the game? I used to teach at university, but what makes you think I'd be a good teacher? I don't think I would be a good teacher. I don't really care about I mean, I guess to be a good teacher you need to have some sort of caring affection for your students. You know, you have to like care how they do. You have to not be completely ignorant of their hardships and whatever. I can't quite say that applies to me. Well, I'm a full-blown materia now. Well, in that case, just just give it a try and enjoy the game. I mean, there isn't really anything that important you can miss, I think. That's an interesting distinction you make there. That's not a real dichotomy. That's the only math words you know. I don't believe you because math words are quite plentiful. Did you know domain is a math word? Codomain. There are quite a lot of sexy math words. What is your most attractive math words, I wonder? Differentiate. Integrate. Even manifold is a math word. What is the sexiest math word? I guess it depends on, you know, like what kind of math fetish you're into. I mean, I can't quite say like what kind of math fetish you have. Depends on that, I guess. Enumeration, wow, that's amazing. Hey Reiju, how are you? I don't like the color. don't really like this color either. Rayleigh distribution. You know, some people like big numbers, and in mathematics there are certain fields that have like the largest non-infinite number. Like, have you heard of the Googleplex? That's the name of a number. See you. Yes, that's where Google got its name exactly. You know, at some point, these to the power of things are not effective enough anymore, and then you have like another way to like. You see how like multiplication is basically like iterated addition, and exponentiation is essentially iterated multiplication. There is also something that is basically iterated exponentiation. Well, I guess statistics is an interesting field. You know, like the chance of if you shuffle like a deck of 54 cards, you'll have one outcome in the end. You'll have like the first card, the second card, and so on. And the number of possible outcomes is so huge that just having any one of these possible outcomes is statistically impossible, but you still get one. Also, how many atoms are there in the universe anyway? I don't even know that. 4.5? Or is it 5.5? Do I have to add what I just ate? So like maybe 6. By the way, for the longest time, I didn't really know what the screen was. I realized like only a few years ago that on this screen, like the yellow part is like actually the desert and the blue is the sky. So you're looking right here into the golden desert under a turquoise sky. It's not some kind of wall, it's like actually the desert. And it took me like 20 years to realize that. Oh, I should go back to Wonder Square, because I want to look at all the wonders there. Were you there when I played basketball? Because basketball in this game is just amazing. So like in basketball, you normally throw a basketball into the basket, but if you're poor and you cannot afford a basketball, just use your mama or your daddy and throw that person into the baskets. But the issue, of course, is that if the person you're throwing is too fat, they will not fit into the basket, and that's kind of unfortunate. Oh my god, I actually scored one. Interesting. Oh no, I want to get something. It's unfortunate I can't do the snowboard minigame yet. Yeah, I saw the black materia myself, just casually having fun there. What does the fortune telling machine say? Try it. I'm gonna assume it's gonna say exactly that. I have already tried the Moogle game. In the Moogle minigame, I was feeding a green materia with Sephiroths in order to impress some random NPC guy. That's the Moogle minigame for you in this mod. You know what I haven't done yet? I have not gone to this amazing place here. Oh, only 3, that's a steal. Who should Sephiroth go on a date with? Like, what would you say? Sephiroth or Sephiroth? It's hard to make up my mind. Let's choose Sephiroth. Oh my god, I'm on a date with Mr. Dolphin. My life is complete now. You know, it kind of looks like the person I'm controlling, the woman on the left side. By the way she's acting and moving, doesn't it kind of look, you know, doesn't it give you the impression that she's considering, reflecting how to best cook him? Why is there a dolphin in there? Well, there used to be a dolphin, but now it's gone. Now it's just 2 guys randomly having some kind of drug trip, and looks like they're overdosing or something. Don't look healthy. Somebody please call an ambulance. These guys need help. Anyway, I think I have to lie down on a windowsill for a few days, at least hours now, and take a nap or something. So try to not die. If you die, I think you might have to have a talk. And have spooky dreams. Have a spooky life, if you like. And see you.